So this is going to be a short video just going through a live trade I've taken on the pound US dollar. Now you've already been through that video on how to read those charts like a pro and gone through that video on exactly what you're looking for in those market phases. Now on this video, I'm going to walk through exactly how you're going to take a trade. So first, I'm on that pound US dollar. Going back to a 4-hour time frame, we can see where the market has made its move. We have been in this downwards trend. You can see the market has continued to drop. We broke previous lows, and I'm looking for the market to pull back again for another sell. Now, this doesn't mean that I still am not going to look to buy this market. If I'm seeing the patterns I'm looking for, and this is exactly what you'll learn in a lot more depth inside that Forex masterclass, but you will be able to start finding great trade setups. Now, if you've not been through either of those videos I mentioned at the beginning of this video, do not worry, you can watch those at the end of this video. So let's look at the actual entry. With some price falling down, going to the 1-hour time frame, what we're going to see here is when the market broke this low, continue to break structure to the downside, using what you've learned in those two videos, we'll be marking this high down to the low, looking for price to pull back to the Fibonacci area. Now, as well as the Fibonacci area, we have this area of supply where we see the market dropping to the downside. We also have an area of imbalance that needs to be filled as well. Perfect location to look for price to come back to look for another trade to the downside. You can see the momentum we have as price drops down. And that's where we're looking now for that retracement back up, again for another momentum move to downside. So the actual entry, let's now go through why I've taken the trade. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, what do we now witness? We see price going into consolidation phase. Now that is our phase one. We then see price breaking to the upside as we're looking for this retracement. This would normally typically be your breakout phase two. But what we've actually now seen is prices pull back, breaking and taking the lows of this consolidation, taking those stops. We spike below and then we've rallied up and we've just spiked through the high of that previous high. What that is now going to show me is that the reversal is to the upside. Now we're going closer to the chart. So we can see the consolidation phase. This was a false break to the upside to bring in buyers. They will place their stops here and here in the market. We then see the market push back down, taking these stops. And in fact, what that is now done is also dropped into this area here in the market. So we can see price has spiked down into this area of demand that's been left behind, and then we've seen a rally to the upside. Now we see that spike above this high, generating movement to the upside. We drop down to our 15-minute time frame. We can then identify this area of demand which broke this previous high. So the market has now gone up, we've pulled back. Now this is what I class as a tested zone, and you'll learn much more in detail how we'll look to trade those inside the Forex masterclass. We've then rallied up, broken that high, prices then pulled back. And again, we can identify as the market pulls back in, going to a 5-minute time frame, you'll be able to see when the market comes back down into this area, we break this low, we pick up more orders, we take out the stops, and we have a lovely looking engulfing candlestick. Now I didn't take a set and forget strategy entry off this actual zone. I've waited for a candlestick pattern to occur. Now of course you can look for confirmation entry here as well, and that is again you'll learn in much more detail in another video when I go through those different types of entries that you should be using in your trading with a supply and demand strategy. And I'll leave that video linked above now for you to go through at the end of this video to watch those entries. But this is now a trade I'm in. I will be looking to take some profits off this trade as price moves. As for my final target, popping back to the 1-hour time frame, where we have this area of supply and this area of imbalance, I'm looking for the market to go back up to test this area for my final profit target. Now, as you can see, that is, let's go through quickly to my Fibonacci tool. That will be marking off the low where I've got the stop to the entry, just over a 6-to-1 profit target to that area. Now this is just a retracement trade. This is not my trade with the trend. I'll be looking for a much higher risk to reward when going with the trend. So that is exactly how you look to use those phases in the market. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this video here, come back at a later point and show you how this trade actually ended up, where I was taking my profits as I was taking partials on this trade. If I do, I'm most likely going to look to take some partials at these highs, because that is where price is going to likely to go now. It's going to take out those highs. I'm going to look to take partials there, move this trade then to break even, and my final target will be this area. So again, what I'll do is I'll come back and share with you how that trade ends up. So I want to do an update on this trade quickly, just so you can see exactly what has happened. Prices come into these previous highs, and I've actually just taken some off this trade. You'll see I've actually halved that lot size I had. So I've taken some partials. I'm now going to move this trade also to break even, and we're looking for that final target still at those previous area of supply. So let's just quickly move this trade now to break even, and then we'll go down to that 5-minute time frame where we took this entry, and you'll be able to see this is that candlestick where I took that entry. Just since then, the market has gone straight up. We're now coming into these highs right here, but as price came up into, let me just quickly take that off, into these highs here, breaking through those highs where I've just taken some profit off this trade. So what I'm going to do again is I will pause this video here, and I'll come back and we'll go through this trade and see how it actually ends up, if it can indeed get to this final area of supply, where I will then be looking for a sell back to the downside. So price did come up, it's come into that area of supply, that final target, and we've hit just over that 6-to-1 profit target on this trade. So it's been a great trade to be in this week. Now we're looking at the market coming into this area of supply, and I did say that this is where I'll be looking for a sell. We went through on the beginning of this video where we're looking at this retracement area at that Fibonacci zone and this 1 hour area of supply in the market. We also had that small area of imbalance, which has now been filled by this push up into the market. So what are we looking at next on this pair? Well, let's quickly go through what actually happened on this trade, understanding those phases. We had the consolidation phase here in the market. We had the manipulation to upside first, bringing in some buyers. And then you can see the manipulation to downside, taking those stops. We then have the push up, breaking structure. That's then our phase 1. Our mark up is our phase 2. We have our retracement phase back to the area on the 15-minute time frame. We went through that area of demand where we caught that 5-minute entry. Then our final phase is looking for our target, which is our phase 4. It's as simple as that when you're looking to take these trades, understanding the phases in the market with this type of supply and demand strategy. Now we're looking at this area of supply. So let's have a closer look at what's happened here on the market before price went into that area of supply. Let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. Understanding the phases in the market, we have our consolidation phase. The market's come up, we've got this consolidation. We've had a push up first into our area of supply. We did break this high here. Now what I'll be looking for is for phase 2, meaning the market is going to drop, showing us our mark down. This will be breaking these areas here of market structure. Then we'll be looking for that retracement phase back up into an area of supply, into our Fibonacci zone area, areas of imbalance. Then we're looking for our entry to take that entry down to our phase 4, our potential target. So that is exactly how you can bring everything together you're learning in these previous videos in the phases in the market. Now popping up next is the video going through this pattern I'm now talking about and what went through on this trade. So you can see exactly how that would look on your charts going forward with this type of trading. Then at the end of that video, you'll be able to go through that video on the phases in Forex trading to help you to identify which phase you're in and how to pick up these types of trades.